天上天下唯我独尊
It is the hardest line in modern anime history. It defines Satoru Gojo's transcendent power. But here's the thing, Gege Akutami didn't write that line. The historical Buddha did, legends say, moments after his birth. On the surface, JJK is a slick, incredibly hyped battle shonen about sorcerers punching ghosts really hard. But if you peel back the layers of cursed energy, you realize that Akutami isn't just drawing cool fights. He is remixing thousands of years of Eastern religious thought, specifically Shintoism, Hinduism, and especially esoteric Buddhism, to build his power system. Why are domain expansions so powerful? Why does Sukuna look like that? And what does it actually mean to be enlightened in the JJK world? To understand Jujutsu, we have to start with the bedrock of Japanese spirituality, Shinto. Shinto is an animistic religion deeply tied to nature and purity. In Shinto, there is a concept called kegare, which translates roughly to spiritual pollution or impurity. Kegare isn't necessarily sin like in Western religions. It's more like a spiritual sludge that accumulates through death, disease, or negative emotions. If left unchecked, kegare leads to disaster. Sound familiar? In JJK, pursed energy is described almost exactly the same way. It is born from negative human emotions, fear, hatred, regret, leaking out of non-sorcerers. Akutami takes the Shinto concept of spiritual pollution and weaponizes it. The curses themselves, the disasters like Jogo or Mahito, are just massive sentient accumulations of this kegare. They are the natural consequences of humanity's spiritual filth. Even the good guys use Shinto concepts. The very term shikigami, used by Megumi Fushiguro, comes directly from Omyando, traditional Japanese occultism with Shinto roots. Real-world shikigami are spirit servants summoned by a practitioner, often originally represented by paper dolls, to perform tasks. Megumi is basically a highly aggressive spiritual janitor using Shinto tools to clean up the mess. But Shinto is just the foundation. The towering skyscraper built on top of it, the coolest mechanic in the entire series, is pure esoteric Buddhism. I'm talking about domain expansion. A domain expansion isn't just a barrier technique that makes your attacks hit, it's a weaponized mandala. In Tantric or esoteric Buddhism, a mandala is a complex symbolic diagram of the universe. It's a cosmic map used for meditation. At the center of the mandala is usually a primary deity or Buddha. When a monk meditates on a mandala, they are mentally entering that sacred space, attempting to merge their consciousness with the deity at the center of the mandala to achieve enlightenment. Gege Akutami took this meditative concept and made it literal. When a sorcerer uses domain expansion, they are forcing their inner mental landscape, their personal mandala, outward onto reality. They aren't just entering a sacred space, they are becoming the deity at the center of their own universe. Inside that space, their rules are absolute because they are the god of that pocket dimension. That's why the sure hit effect exists. You cannot exist inside God's house and avoid his gaze. Now let's talk about the man himself, Satoru Gojo. Gojo is walking, talking Buddhist iconography. Let's go back to that quote, "Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one." When the historical Buddha was born, legend says he took 7 steps, pointed one hand up and one hand down, and declared this. It signifies a being who has achieved perfect realization, transcending the cycle of suffering. Gojo's 6 eyes are likely a reference to the Buddhist concept of the 6 types of higher knowledge, or abhijnana, abilities gained through meditation, including seeing past lives and seeing the true nature of reality. And his technique, Limitless, is a physics-based interpretation of Buddhist voidness. His blue represents attraction, the worldly pull of desire and attachment that keeps us trapped. His red is repulsion, pushing things away, and purple is the destruction of material reality. But his domain, unlimited void, is the ultimate enlightenment metaphor. It floods the target with infinite information, everything that exists. In many Buddhist traditions, enlightenment isn't about knowing nothing, it's about understanding the infinite interconnectedness of everything simultaneously. But for a normal brain, a non-enlightened mind, experiencing everything all at once isn't freeing, it's paralyzing.
Gojo forces his opponents to experience instant, catastrophic enlightenment, frying their brains because they're not ready for the truth of the universe. If Gojo represents a path to transcendent, almost divine enlightenment, Ryomen Sukuna is the dark mirror. He is the path of absolute carnivorous attachment. The real mythological Ryomen Sukuna was a two-faced, four-armed figure from Japanese folklore, sometimes seen as a demon, sometimes a minor deity. Akutami combines this with darker aspects of Tantric Buddhism. Certain transgressive schools of Tantra involved breaking social taboos, like consuming forbidden things to shock the mind out of conventional thinking and gain power. Sukuna is the ultimate embodiment of this. He gains power through cannibalism. His entire philosophy is based on appetite and pure self-interest. He is what happens when someone achieves spiritual realization but has zero compassion. He is a bodhisattva gone horribly, horribly wrong. His domain, Malevolent Shrine, is fascinating. Unlike others, it doesn't have a barrier. It paints its mandala directly onto real reality. It is a divine corruption of reality, a perversion of a holy site devoted only to slaughter. Jujutsu Kaisen is special because it doesn't just use religious aesthetics for flavor text, it weaves these ancient philosophies on the nature of suffering, reality, and selfhood into the mechanics of its combat. When these characters fight, it's a clash of ideologies, a battle of rival gods trying to impose their reality on one another, and that gives every punch so much more weight. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm open its own domain. Comment down below which character's spiritual design is your favorite. Subscribe for more anime analysis, and until next time,